there's hopefully that's Roz coming. Yeah, just wanted to sort of as I said, I don't know if you saw the live that I did in Facebook about it. I just think culturally we've come out of well, first of all, to give you some backstory, we went into the pandemic having done a lot of face-to-face interaction in Neil Jard Remedies, and then of course we reinvented the business because everyone had to. You know, we took it all online, and we were doing samples into letterbox boxes, and people would sign up for workshops to come and be together. And to be honest, it was phenomenal 2 years, because we became, for some people, just community in the loneliness, and lots of people had spare income because they were, you know, not paying childcare or commuting costs or whatever, and so they were able to, you know, really do the journey with our products. And then because of the economic situation that we found ourselves in post pandemic, not only were we wrestling with people's reluctance to be obviously socially together in places. We were very nervous, weren't we? And I remember having lots of conversations with friends about, I've kind of forgotten how to be sociable, and it feels weird to go to someone else's house again. And it was such a strange time, but also economically, everybody was running promotions. So we went from offer to promotion to sale to promotion to offer to, you know, it was just constant. Sharon, you were a consultant, then Roz was. I remember it just, you know, it was a culture, it was a promotions culture, and it was what we needed to do and what every other company in any kind of retail setup was needing to do. And, you know, certainly speaking to friends of mine who were in other direct selling companies, we were all doing the same thing.
Yeah.
And as we've recovered from that, I think one of the things that we've been aware of in discussions at a senior leader level with Neil Jard was just kind of readjusting the culture. And, you know, you guys were at the Winter Festival and got some of that chalk face input, almost being able to say to people again, well, literally saying to people again, this is how we do the business. Because I think we hadn't got back, kind of reinvented the business again out of COVID because of the promotions that were needed. So it's been a company strategy to reduce the numbers of sales, special offers, promotions, which I, for one, am very glad about, because, to be honest, I was having trouble keeping up, and I do this full time. So how anybody else had a hope, I don't know. But I think also in some ways it just gives us the opportunity now to work in ways that are perhaps more congruent with the brand. You know, it's not a hard sell company. It's not a sale. We're not the DFS of skincare. And it's just lovely to have the chance now for this bit of time to just look at one aspect of that, and hopefully sell to you the idea of these gatherings of people. And I wanted to give you a chance at the beginning just to say a little bit about how you feel about workshops, parties. What do you want to call them? And is that something that you're like, convince me, Sian, I'm really not sure about doing this? Does it terrify the living daylights out of you? Are you excited about them? You know, just tell me a bit about where you're at. Sharon, do you want to kick us off, because you're off mute?
Yeah, I will. I've actually got a party at my house on Thursday evening. It's my first one. It's my first one.
Right.
So, well, I did one in lockdown as well, and that didn't go really too well. But this is my first one again, and it's a hands pampering evening.
Okay.
So we're sort of doing, you know, they're going to wash their hands and put I can't think of the name now, the scrub on their hands and all things like that. And then I've got different hand creams that they can all try and sort of things like that. So, and we're doing one of these raffles where they all have a ticket when they come in, and then if they bring a friend, they get an extra raffle ticket. And then at the end of the night, the raffle ticket that's pulled out, that will be the person that gets the host gift.
Lovely. And potentially the host rewards, or just the host gift?
It's a host reward as well. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm just trying to get it off. So yeah. So I'm really concerned about it, how it'd go. But I'm out there. I'm going to do it.
Well
And,
done. How many have you got coming?
well, I've got 7, hopefully. But 2 of them are sort of got a bit iffy on me now.
Okay.
One's my daughter-in-law, and she was going to bring her sister with her, but they're sort of busy during the day because one of her sisters moving, so
Okay.
I might not be able to come, but it'll still be 5. So hopefully, as long as nobody else pulls out, it's
And make
always
sure they remind them that they get extra tickets for bringing a friend.
yes, yeah,
So, you know, that might focus the attention, shall we say, to turn
yeah,
up and to bring somebody.
yeah. So
Okay.
what I'm thinking as well is putting the table out with a few other bits that we also sell, so that when they come in, I can offer them a drink and just say, "Oh, if you want to have a look at the table to see what sort of products we do."
Nice.
So that's what I'm planning on.
So
At the moment.
some trepidation, but you're
Yeah,
doing it. You're feeling the fear and going for it anyway.
I am. Yeah, and if it
Great.
goes well, I've tried, and I
And
just
the
have to
world will
try
still
again.
spin. Yes, try again, and the world will still spin. And what I would say is take some time, happy to do that as a one-to-one to evaluate what you did. Because if you're anything like me when I started, I needed to change up little things that actually made quite a big difference. So don't
Right.
judge yourself on one go.
Yeah.
Let's kind of take it apart afterwards and see
Okay.
what you'll do differently next time. And it's
Oh,
not about failing, it's about thinking, oh, okay, I can see why that would have made a difference, or whether you scuppered yourself somewhere. Or my bit that was the trickiest bit for me to learn was actually closing the sale at the end of the evening. That took me a few times. And once I'd got it and I'd made small changes,
yeah,
then the results came. Because otherwise you can do lots that's right. And if there's one bit that just kind of scuppers it, don't give up. Have
yeah.
somebody to talk it through with you.
Oh,
Or
okay.
you can do
Yeah.
that with Jane as well, or with me, up to you. Robin, how
Oh,
are you feeling about it now? How are how's your idea of this?
So I've got a few dates in the diary. I've got one for next Friday and Saturday. I've been absolutely hectic, so I haven't really advertised it that much, but I'm actually at a big fair this weekend, so I'm going to push there to try and say I've got all these event dates, come and have a chat and see how it goes. I've got a date in the diary to catch up with Jane afterwards, just as a bit of a debrief, see how that's going.
Nice.
But I'm really excited just because my little cards have arrived. The ones that is it like the imbalance cards where you got the date at the bottom.
Nice.
So I'm looking forward to that.
Lovely. So you've got it all
Yeah.
planned, and
I've got it all planned. I've also decided to add it to some of my other services that I offer. So it'll make it into a bit more of a longer workshop. So I'll tie it in with the energy healing that I do and my coaching services. Just for an extra spin, really. So yeah,
lovely,
I'll see
lovely.
how
And
that goes.
that'll be your USP, because me and Sharon and probably others who will watch this won't have a clue how to do that because we don't have energy healing qualification.
I
But I
mean,
think what's great about workshops, whether they're called that or not, and I'm going to talk to you about that distinction in a minute, they are standalone. If you've got things you can add to them, great. What I would say is word of caution, because I don't have anything to add to mine. It hasn't been an issue for me, but I have listened to lots of therapists over the last 15 years in Neelshad Remedies saying the danger is that people think that number one, to host a workshop for themselves, they've got to have space for a massage couch or time for additional therapies, or they've made the therapies too much of a focus and then everybody's too blissed out and they don't actually order anything. And then
fine balance, yeah.
from a recruiting perspective, because these are prime places to see potential joiners, the danger is that inadvertently there's a message that you're only a consultant if you're also a therapist.
Yeah, I get that.
Do you
Yeah.
see what I mean? So just maybe do some with additional
Yeah, that was my
and some
plan.
without.
Yeah.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
You're on it. That's great.
I'm on it. Yeah. I thought of also doing an in-person one and then a day later or a week later run the same thing but online instead. Broaden my horizons that way.
Yes,
See
great.
where I get.
Okay, just let Malbecca in. Okay, so I think as Marbecca comes in, I know she is. Oh, we'll just let her connect to audio. There she is. Hi, Marbecca. Welcome.
Hello.
We've just been talking about how we feel about workshops. These guys have got some tentative ones in their diaries, so they're feeling the fear and doing it anyway. And I would say, I was just about to say as you came in, I think Marbecca would say she's in the same boat. Because yes, it's a case of, oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm actually approaching it in a neutral way, because I'm doing a little something on Valentine's evening itself, just to gauge, people's needs. So it's nothing to do with selling, or not to talk about any products or anything, just getting to know them. And then from there, I'm hoping to pull off a proper workshop, just to get that feeling.
Okay, so I think one of the things, and I'm partly saying this because I'm preaching to the converted, to you guys that are here live, but I'm going to say it anyway for those that might want to watch the recording. I think the question to ask yourself, if you are in a debate about whether or not workshops, parties, get-togethers, pampers, whatever you're going to call them, whether you're going to do those, the question to ask yourself is, what sells the product? So if I ask you guys that question, how would you answer that? What would you say best sells the product?
Demonstrations, say if you do a facial.
Okay. What would you say, Sharon? Oh, you're muted, lovely.
Yeah, just giving them a sample sometimes and letting them try it, all the different ones.
Okay, and Robin, what would you say? What sells the product?
I think the product sells itself once they've started using it themselves.
Okay, so all three of those answers, though they're different, they come back down to actually the product being on the person. The benefit of the group of people sat together trying the products is that you get to pop up and say the things that you know about that product, and kind of, I always think of it like taking them on a journey. So for instance, if I'm keen to try some of the facial products, unless I've had the chance to try a little bit of a creamy cleanser, probably calendula at first instance, on the back of my hand, and then potentially compare that with the texture of a facial wash, or at least talk about it on the back of the other hand, maybe try it. How do I know which of those is going to best suit my skin and which texture I prefer? So you can answer the questions on page 9 in the brochure. If you're not sure about page 9, put it on your notes, look at page 9 in the brochure. That is where people will kind of do some self-analysis of the textures that they like and what their main concerns are about their skin, how they'd like their skin to feel. But actually it's the product and that third dimension that we have to our product where people go, oh my goodness, that feels lovely, or oh, I love the smell of that, which, as you just said, Robin, sells the product. Now, the danger, I'm not taking away from sampling because I do a lot of it, and I stick them in the brochures. The danger of just sticking with sampling is that you don't get to pop up at the moment that they're going to open it and go, oh, just to say, that's the creamy cleanser, and the kind of things that you would say to take them on a journey with that product. You might have written a note with some of the samples, but it's unlikely that all of that information is going to be taken in the same way as if they're sat together with other people round a table, or sat on the sofas, or sat in a coffee shop, or wherever you are in a treatment room, actually going through the process of those facial products. I would say that initial starter kit first off together. What you're also doing is not just talking about that product, you're talking about potentially some of the benefits of some of the ingredients. So you might talk about the fact that calendula, to go with the cleanser analogy that we're running with here, the calendula is very soothing and healing for skin. You're going to be talking a bit about the company. You're going to be talking about why a cleanser matters. That is just like so much more information, isn't it, than the bit that they'll read in the website or the little one-liner in the catalogue and a sample. Now, I am going to repeat myself. I'm not taking away from sampling. I think it really does have a value. But if you want to engage people in changing their skincare to Neal's Yard Remedies, or deciding they're going to use Neal's Yard Remedies body products this summer instead of anything else, or they want to understand why antioxidants matter, so they want to explore the Wild Rose range, you are going to need to invest some time with that person one-to-one or in a small group. And if you're going to do it one-to-one, you might as well do it 1 to 3 or 1 to 2 or 1 to 5, because you're going to be saying the same thing. Now, the other powerful thing about this kind of setup is they sell it to each other. So don't feel like you've got to hold court all the time, because it will come, and it's harder at the beginning because you haven't got the customers yet. But if you can find a couple of people who've used Neal's Yard Remedies, absolutely feature the products they already know. So it is rare now in a workshop where I talk about Wild Rose Beauty Balm or Orange Flower Facial Oil or Calendula Cleanser, because I get somebody else in the workshop to do that talking for me. Because if you think about it, if you're the consultant, you're supposed to rave about it. You're supposed to tell me how marvelous it is. But when another guest at the table does that, well, that's how influencers were born, wasn't it? It's when you've got the recommendation of somebody else, they're your Trustpilot review at the table. And that is powerful. What you also get, as women do, is we do a lot of comparison, don't we? So for instance, Marbecca might at the end of the evening write down the cleanser, and she's umming and ahhing about the moisturizer, but Sharon goes, well, I'm going to go for it because you get the free toner. Oh, are you? Oh, maybe I will then. Why do we do that? But we all do it, don't we? We make that comparison. Well, she's going to get the moisturizer, I'll probably better do that. In the same way, actually, if, for instance, Sharon, you were just going, oh, no, I think I'm just going to get the cleanser, other people might sit back. So without going into selling skills, I am just going to say, if that happens to you and somebody verbalizes, I'm putting the brakes on, so I'm just going to get one thing, I would just speak up and say, just to remind you, you do get a free toner if you add the moisturizer. And then you've got Cleanse Tone Moisturize, which is the basic, ideally what we should all be doing on our skin twice a day. Who of us can say we do that every day? Anyway, we digress. So basically, it's a much more augmented way of selling the product. What it also does is it takes people through an experience, and the trend now in retail even is to take people on experiences, isn't it? There's a bit of theatre in shops like John Lewis. You know, they have demos of kitchen appliances, and they have people selling little snippets of food to encourage you to buy it. And the trend, if you look at the kind of marketing trends and at this time post-COVID, a lot of it is about experience. And how many people have you got in your friends and family who would rather have an experience than stuff? So they'll go for a day at the spa instead of a huge pile of birthday presents, that kind of thing. There's a bit of a trend in that direction. And I think what these workshops do is they do both, because you've got product that's relevant to the needs of people in their lives now. So as we go towards March, for instance, we're going to be thinking about World Sleep Day. Sleep is an issue for lots of people. So we're promoting products that speak into situations that are relevant to people. Now, a sample won't do that on its own. It's only in the context of talking about how we sleep. What do you find the issues are? Do you find it difficult to go to sleep, or do you wake up in the night? How do our products help that? Now, nobody's sleep is going to be solved with just the overnight treatment. It does help, but if you add nighttime tea to that and you put it together with a relaxing bedtime routine, bingo. Yeah, so a sample of that product on its own is not enough. You want to augment the messages, and workshops do that. Parties, Pampers, girls' nights in. So if you think, when we're talking about workshops now, I'm basically meaning any collection of people around the product. And I think the danger that we we sometimes find ourselves in when we first start out, and I say we because all of us as consultants start out thinking, okay, I'm going to give this thing a go. Nobody arrives as a consultant an expert in this, even the therapists, because actually what they're used to doing is delivering treatments, not taking people on an experience and selling products. It's a different thing. So all of us come and we kind of learn how to do this. What I would say as my top tip, if you're going to do it, is be obvious in your messaging. Okay. So I'm going to give you an example. If you've got contacts that in your, your friends and potentially people who are gradually evolving into being customers, you say to them, I'm thinking of starting little social gatherings where we can just go on a journey together with a few products for about an hour and a half. Is that something you'd be interested in doing? So you're not inviting them to a date. Think of it like a stepping stone towards the date. You're just saying, I'm thinking of doing this, bit of market research. What's your response to that? If they say yes to that, you know that they're interested. At that point, you don't have to worry about pressurizing them or, goodness, if I message her and tell her the dates that I've now organized, will she want to know, or will she think I'm being hard sell? Going back to what you were saying, Robin, about the people at your event on Saturday, rather than saying, these are my events, feel free to come along. If you said, look, actually what I've started doing, as well as events like today, I'm going to start running some workshops, and it's just a better way for us to spend time trying the products, finding out a bit more about them, enjoying a bit of time out. And I wonder if that's something you might be interested in finding out about. Do you see how that kind of, it makes it a really clear, straightforward message? When it comes to yours, Sharon, that clarification, for instance, from your hand treatment session, you might say to other friends after you've done this one you've got booked, actually, I've had my first little get together with people, and that was a bit of a hand pamper. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to run one where we can explore some of the facial products, because face is over half of what we sell. Face products is half of the product range that brings in the finances. So you might say, right, so I'm going to change it up and I'm going to do face instead. Is that something that you might like to come to? Or I'm just going to get a feel for how many people are interested, because I might need to put 2 dates in. Yeah. And this is something, this clarity of messaging is something I learned the hard way, because I'm going to let you into a secret. When I first started as a consultant, my friend Vicky across the way was my first host. Now, the trouble with that made it difficult for myself right from the beginning. What I should have done is I should have hosted it myself, because then I'm the host and the consultant. Vicky said yes because she's my friend, but actually she didn't know what she was letting her friends in for. And so actually her inviting was muddly. Yeah. Whereas if I'm the consultant and the host, I can make that message really clear. So that's another top tip. Don't do what I did. Just host those first ones yourself. And, you've already got some stuff in your diary. You guys who are watching this live are doing that. The next thing I did is I said to Vicky, tell them that I need to practice because I need to get to know my kit, and they don't need to buy anything if they don't want to. There'll be no hard sell. So guess what they did?
They turn up.
They did turn up, but they didn't buy anything because I'd already set up for myself, hadn't I?
Oh, yeah.
Why would you tell people they don't have to buy anything? I mean, how brilliant a sales technique is that? So I didn't sell anything the first one. So Sharon, like I said, don't give up on the first one, because here we are, a lot of years later. So actually make that bit clear as well. When you've got your dates, say to them, I would love you to come along to mine. Paint the picture for them. What we're going to do is go through some of the facial products together, and everyone will be able to do a little facial on their own face, and we'll have about an hour and a half just chilling out with a nice glass of something and trying the products. And to be honest, I'm intrigued to know what you'll think. I'll be really up for hearing your opinion of the products, because I'd like to get your feedback. But I think you're going to really enjoy trying them and a bit of time out. Something like that. Do you see how that would have been a much better pitch than the one I gave to Vicky for her friends? Because actually, if you say to people, I'd love to know what you think of the products, but I'm sure you're going to love them, guess what they do?
They love them.
And then they buy them.
Yeah.
And that change from tell them I just need to practice and they don't have to buy anything, to what I've just said, which is I'd love to know what you think of the products at the end, but I think you're going to love them, was the small change that I made for the inviting to my second event. And guess what? I sold stuff. And then the dilemma is to try and help that person with their order without acting too surprised. Because when they say, actually, I'm going to order that, the cleanser and the moisturizer, I'm going to go for that so that I get the free toner. Try not to go, really? Something, just pretend that you've been doing this every day. That's the bit that you can fake. So first main point is make it clear, make the pitch clear. And I have talked about the facial products. I'm going to suggest to you that you start with your starter kit. So it's fine, do your hand one, it's good. Why am I suggesting starter kit? Do you want to have a guess? Why am I saying that?
Because it's all got all the basic things in it that we need to start off.
It has, but then you could do hand creams and scrub and stuff, but I'm still going to drag you back to your starter kit. Go on, give us some ideas why I'm choosing that.
Because it shows, I don't know, I might be wrong, but to me it shows the value that you get. The starter kit only costs this much, and this is what I've got, and I can't wait to show you what, how wonderful they are, basically.
Okay, interesting take. How does that help the customers?
No, I probably try and find a better wording for that.
Do you mean the kind of value of the products, and I don't mean price value, but look at all these lovely things, that kind of thing.
Yes, and then the different sizes, and when you hold, say, the frankincense jar, for example, how beautiful it is, and then you open it, and the smell and the texture.
I love that, Marbecca, because actually, I have done, and I do hand pampers, but a hand cream looks the same as the next hand cream in a tube, and it's never occurred to me that in the starter kit what you have is a pot, a pump, a tube, a pipette. You're right, it is a real variety of the products, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, Robin, you've got a theory on why I'm going with heritage?
For me, I guess it's because it's our core range, as it were. It's a product, one from each sort of. So you've got the cleanse, the tone. My mind's gone blank. The other bit,
yeah,
yeah. And then you've got a couple of the other products as well, like the eye cream and things like that. I know what I'm trying to say, but it's not coming out quite right.
That's fine. You've got the full facial routine.
That's it.
You've got a cleanser, a toner.
That's it.
The treatment bit is 2, so it's the facial oil and the eye product, and then you've got the moisturizer. Yeah. And there's that lovely bit in our main catalogue now. Let me just grab one. I've got one here, which talks about the different elements of the facial. Page 8. I'll just show you. It's this bit here. What does a cleanser do? What does a toner do? Why do you need an eye product? All of that. So have a look in page 8. But that's great for working alongside some of the resources that we've got in downloads that will help you with what you're going to say. And I'll come on to that in a minute, but I just want to talk about why the heritage stuff. And many of the products that are in that starter kit, by definition, the heritage stuff, they're things that have been tried and tested in Neal Shard Remedies for a very long time. Frankincense hydrating cream was one of the very early products that was made by Romy Fraser when Neal Shard Remedies was set up. It's certainly a 1980s product. I don't remember the exact year, but they've gone on, they're tried and tested. But if I am opening you guys up as a new consultant, I'm introducing you as my friends to that heritage range, and I'm talking intelligently about them, and you're getting to try, as you say, all those different elements of a facial. Why does that matter? I'm now thinking, I don't really do this. Maybe I should give this a bit more attention. And as you said, Marbecca, you get to hold the jar and hold the bottle, and you just think, oh, this is lovely in this blue glass. And let's face it, it's a social scene, because all kinds of other conversations are going to go on around that table, because when women get together, they chat about all sorts of stuff. You're creating this beautiful social scene. If I'm doing that well and it's easy, why would you not want to introduce your friends to that same process?
Yeah.
And actually the difference with the facial stuff is that, as I said, over 50% of what we sell is face. So my danger is that if I sell, I don't know, tea bags and pumice foot scrub or remedies to roll, the price point of those items are a lot lower. But the emotional connection is a lot lower as well, because if you can convert a woman to face products, you're probably going to convince her for hand wash, shower gel, inner health, and so on and so on. You're all nodding at me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
Face is the powerful one. So go big or go home. Don't dance around the edges of this one. Use your starter kit. Now, the other benefit is if we're sitting in a group and you guys are my friends and I'm a new consultant and I'm showing all of this, if one of you decides to join, which all of you did, you've already seen your starter kit demoed, because you're going to get the same kit. Yeah, there we go. So
power of duplication.
What did you say, Marbecca?
The power of duplication.
Power of duplication, because actually, if I've never seen the heritage stuff and I get the heritage stuff as a new consultant, it's not insurmountable, but it's tricky, or it's trickier. Now, I just want to share with you a couple of places where you can find some resources for this event. So let me just squiggle this along. So can you see my screen here? Just get rid of this. Here we go. Can you see my login here?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're going to the consultant website. I'm just going to move you slightly to one side. And then this right-hand side one here, training and support, which if you look at it on a phone, you have to look in the little lines in the top corner, don't you? But you've got the blue bar if you're looking at it on any kind of computer. And you go to downloads.
Yeah.
Squiggle this along again. The default when you open up in downloads is this current month, because obviously it's the stuff we're dealing with. It's the month we're in now.
Yeah.
So if you close that and you open up current season, what you've got in here is the showcasing the heritage products, the placemats. So if I just click on that, hang on, let's go to go to downloads. I just open this up. Are you still seeing what I'm seeing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so if I open this up, this is the starter kit. Come on, computer. Laid out in a placemat that you can let each person have in their place. And look at that. Cleanse, tone, treat.
You need to change your screen.
Oh, can you not see that?
No.
No.
Oh, okay, hang on. Yes, let me just, it's because I've opened up another document.
Oh, that's better. Oh, yes, of course.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay.
Tone, treat, moisturize. You don't even have to remember the order, guys, because it's on the
Oh,
map.
wow.
Isn't that amazing? I love the wow,
That's
Robin.
brilliant.
Now, why do I want to sell pumice foot scrub and tea and remedies to roll if I can start selling these products?
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Marbecca's thinking, well, bless her, all she's doing is reading her notes and we're all trying the products. I could do that, so I'm going to join. She gets the same starter kit.
Yeah.
But as well as pick and mix, what you've got here is a heritage trio, and the heritage treat is all the other products. So they could put them together if they want, and they've got these savings of these bundles.
Yeah.
And if they put them together and they have them both, they've got everything that's on the screen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
That is already huge discount. People are
Yes.
used to just seeing 10%, don't they? It's just 10 or
Absolutely.
15%, but that's huge. 22.
right, so I'm just going to go back to this one. Hang on. Move out the way. I can't get it to slide. Hang on, sorry, let me just stop sharing again. You still there?
Yep.
Here we
Yeah.
go. Right, let's get rid of that. Share screen. I just want to show you something else. So if you close this up and in the search bar, you type heritage. You can be blessing me for that name. Heritage Core Skincare Cards. Oh, there's Anne. We'll let her in. That Heritage Core Skincare Cards. I'll download that and then I just need to stop screen share so I can show you that because otherwise it won't open. Downloads. Right, hang on 1 second. I'm going to need to do that again because it's not showing in my downloads. Oh, there we go. Right, I've lost you. There you go. There you are. Hi, Anne. Nice to see you, lovely.
Thank you.
Right, so when you open the PDF of Heritage Core Skincare Cards, this is what comes up. So if you print them to an A5 sheet, you've got a kind of that size document that is your prompts of everything you might want to say and some beautiful pictures. So that's the calendula growing at Peace Marsh. This is what it looks like when they've taken the calendula and pressed the oil out of it. Then you've got the rose toner. Wouldn't you love to be in that room? What does that smell like? My goodness me. Orange flower facial oil, everything you could possibly want to say and more. Don't read it all out because it will just take you too long. You'll probably need a lot of wine for that workshop. Everything you could want to say about all the products in your starter kit are all there. And you will sound like you've got, I don't know, some PhD in the Heritage Skincare Collection. But certainly can speak with confidence about your starter kit. So my recommendation is if you are going to start with these workshops, go big or go home. Don't apologize. Just do facial stuff. Do facial stuff until you realize I didn't even pick up my cards today. I'm just talking about the products. I just know what I'm talking about. And if you start people off on, let's say for this month, you're going to say to people, right, come on, I've decided I'm going to do this thing with my kit because they're all delicious products and I'd love to know what you think of them and come over and have a bit of time out. We'll all do a mini facial and you can tell me what you think of the products, but I think you'd really love them. You book them in for next week. Just do it. Read your cue cards. Use the placemat. And then in the course of the evening, probably somewhere near the end when they've had a great time, you say to them, do you know it's World Sleep Day in March? And I was thinking it'd be really nice to get together again and talk about sleep and how we can help our own sleep. Some of the products that Neil Judd Remedies have got where we use aromatherapy to help get a good night's sleep because it's so important for our health. Should we arrange another date where we can all get together again? That is the easiest booking, the easiest onward booking in your diary is the one that you book there and then whilst they're still having a good time. And you can say, when you get all the yeses, you can say, great, what I'll do is I'll ping you a message afterwards with a couple of dates and we'll choose the one that is best for us all. Or, right, well, I'll let you know what dates I'm going to do these. And what I'll also say is there'll be extra goodies if you bring a friend with you. Yeah, so keep the messages really,
Yeah.
really clear. So then if you think about it, that group of people have seen your heritage collection, then they do sleep. Then they do whatever other theme they'd like. Maybe they want to talk about menopause. Maybe you've got women of a certain age together. Maybe they want to, do you know, I've never really thought about essential oils. I don't know anything about essential oils. If they want an essential oils aroma balance workshop, book it and worry about it afterwards. Okay, because the reality is we've got themes that will come up over the months, but you need to start by getting really good with your heritage starter kit and then move them on to different elements of the range, because we're going to have World Bee Day, we're going to have holiday products, you know, be summer holiday ready. We're going to touch on Wild Rose body products in the summer. You know, all of it's mapped out, and we want to take people on a journey, not just through the facial, but through the whole range. Yeah. Another mistake I made at the beginning, I looked like TK Maxx on a bad day. I took so many products to my early workshops because I wanted everybody to discover Neal's Yard Remedies, and I just put too much out, too much choice.
Ah,
So just do your starter kit. And if you are an ADOS person like me, ADOS stands for attention deficit. Oh, shiny. Oh, and I have to show you this, and I have to show you this, and they don't go home till midnight. They're not going to book you, and they're not going to join. So make yourself stay focused and say to them, I can't wait to show you some more, but not today. Keep them coming back for more, because trust the process. Through the course of the year, you will get to introduce them to lots. Yeah. The other benefit of hosting yourself to start with, as well as then they'll know what they're letting their friends in for, so their inviting will be stronger. The other benefit is that from time to time, you can keep the free and half price shopping. From time to time, you might do what Sharon was saying at the beginning, where she chooses one of them on a raffle ticket to get the benefits of being a host, because that models being a host really powerfully, doesn't it? But sometimes keep your free and half price shopping. Sorry, host shopping credit is the new title, isn't it? And your shopping discount. We've got to get used to those new terminologies. The reason for that is if you're savvy, you'll plan for the themes that are coming up. So so let's go back to the reality. Next week, heritage workshop. Take them on a journey with face stuff, and from what you sell, start buying some of the sleep range. Because then you've got testers for your workshops in March, in and around World Sleep Day. And I'm booking those not as workshops, I'm booking them as pajama parties. And it's very fun to see grown professional women rock up to something like that in their pajamas. Okay, any questions on what we've talked about thus far?
when you're demonstrating the facial, so is this where if you want them to try, so you don't want them to dip into the same pot, so you dish out the samples just about maybe the size of a 50p coin or something, right, in the little pots?
Yeah, really good question. I don't actually dish them out into little pots. We did a bit after COVID because everybody needed their own stuff.
Yeah.
I'm finding now people are much more confident about sharing things, but do use your spatulas.
Oh, spatulas, that's yeah. Instead
Now,
of the
again, another
finger.
mistake I made, so don't do what I did. In the beginning, what I used to do is I would start talking about the calendula cleanser, for instance, and then I'd pass it to the person next to me to take a bit and pass it around the group. That did two things. Worst of all, they took way too much, because if they're not used to our products, they don't know how luxurious they are and how little you need. And secondly, it took blooming ages for them to take a bit and then pass the tube on. Why do people do that? They put a bit on their hand and meanwhile they put the tube in their lap. We're talking about calendula cleanser, but in your head you're going, pass it on, pass it on. And it's much harder to do that. So the way to do it is look down at your product cue card that you've got your information on, decide what you're going to say first, So just glance down and think, right, I'm just going to tell you a bit about this product. And at that point, take the tube yourself and give a little dollop of it to each person round the table. So you're in charge of the tube.
Mhm.
Quite often I do say to them, I'm not being tight with the product, but you'll find in a minute you don't need any more than I've given you, about a pea-sized amount. And that means the tube lasts for ages. A little line like that is a sales pitch it's what I call a seed sower. It's not a blatant pitch, but if, for instance, Anne is sitting there thinking, well, that's not going to go very far, and then actually is pleasantly surprised, she's now interested in my cleanser.
Yeah.
Yeah. So say what everyone's thinking. I know I haven't given you very much, but it's going to be enough for your whole face. Trust me. Yeah. Now, some consultants do their own face whilst they're talking, and some don't. It's up to you. Try both, see which one works. I now need to take my glasses off to see people, put my glasses on to read anything, and I just end up getting too sticky. It's too complicated. So now I don't. I just show them the action. So, you might be doing some of this round your face, but you haven't actually got anything on your hands.
Yeah.
So you're showing them how to rub it in.
Yeah.
And I think especially when you're learning your product, it's a bit tricky to read everything and kind of get a step ahead and answer people's questions and still look relaxed if you're also covered in product. It's just the practicality of it, isn't it?
Yeah, because you might accidentally rub it into your eye.
Right, yeah, totally. And then your eyes are streaming. It's not a good look, is it? Not a good way to sell product. No. So good question, Marbecca. Stay in charge of the spatula and the tube and the bottle. And it will just mean that as you're starting to talk about the product, you whip round the group, give them all a little bit, and that keeps everybody together. I think those people who say to me, oh, it's just really hard because I'm talking about the product, but they're just chatting amongst themselves. Usually it's because they've lost control of the product. Because if you think about it, you've finished talking about the calendula cleanser and it's only gone halfway around the group. So you're ready then to help everybody take their cleanser off, and those people over there haven't even had theirs yet. And that's where you lose people. So you want to keep people together as much as possible, and as I said, take them on the journey together.
Yeah.
Now, the other possibility is that you do the mini facial on a chosen guest. So that might be the host, if you've got a host, and it might be somebody that you just decide, well, she's my bestie, so she's going to get the mini facial.
Yeah.
And everybody else tries it on the back of their hand. And that works better if you've got everybody sitting in a lounge. I love the table thing, because I just think trying it on the back of your hand is not the same as trying it on your face. And I don't like to feel like I'm presenting. I like to be sat at the table with the people chatting. So I've opted more for that. Everybody does their own facial. But if you, for instance, if you hear Gemma Gumby train, she always does the mini facial for other people, for one person, and everyone else tries it on the back of their hand. Horses for courses, see what you prefer. Were there any other questions?
No.
No. Okay. So what I've also got, oh, go on, Anne.
Actually, it'll be at the end. I'll ask at the end.
No, because you'll forget. Go on, ask me now.
It was about insurance, really.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, I'm a therapist, so I get my therapy covered. What about people that are not therapists doing facials and putting products?
Yeah, good question. So again, if you go to downloads and you look up insurance in the search bar, there is a company that covers us as consultants for events, workshops. I think it's for £2 million cover insurance, and it's something like £25 for the whole year.
I couldn't find it last time.
Pardon?
Which name was it?
Sorry,
Sharon, carry on.
Sharon, what did you
I
say?
think it's liability first, isn't it?
Yes.
And it's £27 something a year.
Yeah, there we go.
Right. That's okay then.
So
Did you call them today, Sharon?
No, I haven't. I've been out all day.
Oh, I didn't know if you called them. Yeah.
No,
No,
that's
not yet.
good.
Okay, lovely. Thank you.
Okay, no problem. I just want to come back to where else to get resources on what this workshop looks like as well. So if I just do a screen share again, and I go back to a different tab that I had open for you. So this is our team YouTube channel. Have you all seen this?
Yeah. Oh wow, okay. Sean, okay.
So what I'll do actually is if I copy that,
Yes, please.
I can put that in the chat in a minute, but let me just show you what I was going to show you here. So first of all, just a little bit of a look round. There's consultant training, and then there's a therapist area here. So you might want to have a look in there. Some practical videos. There's a whole thing on workshops there. There's a section on new joiners. Somewhere there's a section on recruiting. Oh, it's up here, look. Online workshops, recruiting. Don't worry about the smart catalogue, that's a dated thing. Product training here. And then the section I want to take you to is business skills training. And I think this is the most useful section if you already love the product, but you don't know how to sell it yet. Because that's balancing your love of the product with some business skills, isn't it? So have a look in this section if that's relevant to you. But if I just go here, let me just pause that. I don't want the selling skills training. But if I go to, where's the list?
Okay.
Hang on, I just need to reduce you lot. Here we go. So if I go to down here, a fly on the wall of what a workshop looks like.
I love that one.
You love that one. Have you seen that one?
Yeah, I love it.
Okay, so this I recorded, I don't know, it's probably about this time last year. And I basically got some of my customers to come round and I said, I know you're all using the facial products, but I need to record a training for my team on what a workshop looks like. And I need to borrow your faces. So as much as was possible, without all the chat that normally happens in a workshop, so that the video, I mean, it's already long, but it would have been, you know, a good 2 hours worth of video if I'd let them chat like they normally do. It takes you through the whole process of what a workshop could look like. And I use the cue cards and you'll get some chat and you can probably see there on the screen, they've got the heritage placemat as it was in front of them. It's been updated since then, but you'll see that. So go and have a look at that section, and hopefully that will, you know, kind of help you to, cancel that. That will help you to kind of do the format of what a workshop looks like. But there's lots in that channel there that I think you might find quite helpful.
Okay.
So now I have completely lost you. Where are we? Zoom. Right, so stop share. And then if I just put in the chat the link, then you can click on that and have it in another tab for you to have a look round when you're ready. What I would say is if you're not already subscribed to that team channel, it's really helpful to be a subscriber, because then when you go to YouTube, you can easily find the channels you're subscribed to. But also it just means that when I do upload new videos, for instance, the recording from this, or the one I did last week about how to make the most of your catalogue, your brand guide, you'll get a notification in YouTube. So that's quite helpful.
I'm not sure I get notifications, but I am subscribed, so
You'd have to open YouTube for that notification to show, and it doesn't come in on email or anything.
oh right, that's why then, because I don't use YouTube. So I need to open YouTube regularly then.
Well, or just when you're opening YouTube, just notice the notification. So there's a subscribe button, isn't there, that shows you videos from the channels that you're subscribed to, that you're following.
Oh right.
And they'll
I'll
come
put
up
it
in
in.
there.
Thank you.
Yeah, you have a choice. You can turn off or do notification, or you can have it on. So it's quite friendly that way.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
absolutely. It's the same with, from a company perspective, the Eventbrite of Neil Shard Remedies consultant community. If you follow that, then when you go into event, well, actually that does go to email. It will say, have a look at this new event that someone that you're following has just uploaded.
All right.
So for instance, when the tickets for the spring event go live, they're going live on Friday, by the way.
Uh-huh.
If you're following Neil Shard Remedies consultant community, you'll get an email to say that that's gone live. But we digress. Okay, so basically, in summary, it is absolutely brilliant to be present on social media, sampling the products, doing events, meeting new people. That is lead generation, where you go out and you've got no idea who you're going to meet. But the most powerful way to get consistent, regular customers that are potential hosts and that some join is the events that we're talking about here. It is the gathering of people together around the product, taking them on a journey, speaking into relevance, like we talked about. You guys were there, you know, at the Winter Festival. We were talking about doing mother and daughter events for Mother's Day on the 10th of March, and then we've got World Sleep Day, and then, you know, the themes will roll. And I think what's lovely, looking back over the years that I've been doing these, is you do get some customers who are repeat followers of these events. They will come to them because they are social events in their own right. Some of them, I think about one particular customer of mine, Louise. To be honest, she should be a consultant. She could do the workshop. She's actually in the video that you'll see when you look at that workshop one I just showed you. She buys the product. She knows the product like the back of her hand, but she runs a preschool, and she just doesn't want the vibe of being a consultant. She said, I just love coming to your workshops. She comes to nearly all of them. She's a repeat orderer, and she's never bored. She said, I learn something every single time. And if I don't, even if I didn't, I just love the experience because I'm busy and it's time out. How perfect is that? And when I do have a loyalty card for my customers, and I was doing some analysis at the end of 2023 on who had bought during 2023. And I think I said in a previous training, it might have been a live, the people who bought in the winter sale were the people who'd bought Christmas presents previous to Christmas. The people who bought Christmas presents and who bought in the winter sale, I would say 90% of them are people who come to my workshops. Isn't that interesting? Because you keep them close and you become the blue bottle lady or person in their life. And so when they need a present for a girlfriend, or they've run out of shower gel, they don't just pick one up in Waitrose, because that feels like committing adultery. You know, because what if she's here? She might see me. Sometimes my customers will even say, I'm really sorry, my daughter bought me a bottle of such and such for my birthday, and I'm sorry she didn't come to you. She didn't know. Like, really, don't apologize. You're using Neil Shard Remedies. It doesn't matter. But actually, what that is reflective of the relationship. And a few years ago, I did a stall at the Bath and West, and I still tease her about it. There's a therapist in the team who is very good on customer service, and she runs workshops and all the rest of it. And her customers were like, oh, look, Neil Shard Remedies. And I was like, oh, you know Neil Shard Remedies, come and have some free hand lotion. Oh, no, because we've got Ness. Was the response. And in the end, I was like, let's take a picture and I'll send it to Ness, because several of her clients and customers are here today. And it became a joke. There is no way they would have bought from me. How lovely is that? Don't get that as easily in any other way of doing the business than gathering people together, letting them talk. You'll have conversations about politics, parenting, bloody men, you know, all of that happens, menopause, all happens around the table. Oh, lovely jumper, where did you get that? All that kind of recommendation like we do, as well as, obviously, as I said, taking people on a journey with the product. So, nothing is more powerful. And then I just want to finish off with the fact that it grows from there, because statistically in direct selling, and some of you old timers will know this, and it's good to be reminded, The average sales across all the consultants, across wherever we live in the UK, because everyone's got a good reason why it doesn't work in their area. It's usually a user error. Sorry to burst that bubble, but that's why we have training and coaching. That's good. The average is somewhere between £300 and £350 across the course of a year. Now, the reality is you'll have some that are terrible and you'll drive home wondering why this was a good idea. And you'll have some that are incredible and take you into 4 figures. And you'll be complaining because there's too much half price shopping. At that point, have a little word with yourself. Nice problem to have. The other results, other than the sales and therefore the commission on that and the personal sales bonus, which you know all of that side of things, there'll be potentially, statistically, 2 people in that group who are interested in hosting their own event. The question is, can you spot them? So it's not just about selling the product. It's like, so what do those people look like? And I'll give you some clues. They're the ones who nod and smile at you all the way through or ask you questions. They are really engaged. They might be the person who's a bit of a social butterfly. You know, they just know loads of people. They're involved in stuff. They've got fingers in lots of pies. They might be the ones who quietly sit and take it all in, but are helping the people to the left and right of themselves. So don't just look for bouncy. Yes, look for bouncy, but look for clues that are a bit more subtle. Maybe they're the ones who are quite keen to tidy up the lids and sort it all out for you at the end whilst you're busy helping people with their orders. Definitely if they ask questions about another part of the range. So if Robin says to me, actually, I'll be interested in coming to your sleep workshop because sleep's an issue for me, I don't think, great, I've got Robin coming to my workshop. I think, how about you host your own? So I would say, in response to that statement, if you said that to something like that to me, Robin, I would say, totally fine, and I'd love you to come to my workshop. But if sleep is a thing for you, it probably is for some of your friends. And what I'd love is for you to have many of our sleep products at no cost to yourself or at discount. And actually, our special host gift is our overnight, a small bottle of our overnight treatment. So I'd love you to have that. Is that something you'd like to consider rather than coming to mine, that you just gather some friends together? So if you can, turn it into a booking.
Yeah.
And you can come to the recruiting training. When is that? Is that next week? No, it's not. It's this Thursday. Introducing other people to Neil Chodramades to get some clues on what do those people look like, because as well as statistically 2 people potentially being a host in that group, you've got 1 person statistically who's interested in finding out a bit more about joining. Now, as we know with stats, they're averages. So aim for 2 extra bookings and then you're doubling your business. And if you get more than 1 person who's interested, great. And if sometimes there just isn't anybody obvious, don't worry about it. But that's where that coaching is so powerful. And Robin, I loved what you said at the beginning about having that call already booked in with Jane. Even before you've done the event, you've got your booking, your focus call, really, your coaching, to kind of dissect it together. Because we all need girlfriends who are going to tell us if our bums look big in this. You know, an outside perspective is always helpful. So actually talking it through, what you'll find with Jane is some of it you'll coach yourself, because you'll say something like, goodness, even as I'm saying that, I realise next time I do that differently. And some of it will be Jane's perspective because she's a step removed. So I would really recommend for all of us that we set up those structures, take it apart, which is why I said to you, Sharon, when you've done your hand pamper, let's have a look at it.
Okay. Yeah, lovely. Thank you.
And I will always be grateful to that upline who let me dissect it when I didn't sell anything because I'd set myself up to fail. And I realised afterwards what I'd done. And then it's a barefaced choice, isn't it? I'm either going to give it a go again, or I'm going to stop there and then and say it's too difficult.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm not doing the latter. So off we went, and the rest is history. And it will be the same for you guys. We're always adjusting and fine tuning our skills. And then what really to finish, what I would say is have a system of communication, which means that as you put further workshops in your diary, you've got a way of contacting the people who like to come to them. So like I was saying, some of those customers, the most loyal customers are the people who come to workshops, but not everybody does. And not everybody is like Louise and comes to every single one of them. I've got lots of customers who've been to one, maybe two in the span of about, I don't know, 8 years, because it's not a focus for them, and that's okay as well. But if you keep offering, they know that your shop is staying open. What you never want is anyone saying, oh, I didn't know you were still doing that. Well, and okay, Anne, you'll go, ooh, but actually, you know, for Anne, she's taken time out. She's coming back in. And I said to her, tell them your shop's open again. Right, I'm starting again.
Yeah.
I'm gonna, you know, you can rejuvenate it. It's not the end of the world. But what you want is okay, ladies, here's my date for World Sleep Day, or here are my 2 sessions I'm going to be doing for World Sleep Day. You decide how many you want to do in the course of a month or to any theme. And you've got the structure of the year, but if suddenly a group pops up that wants something different, book it and panic afterwards.
Yeah.
Myself and whatever leader you work under are very happy to help you solve that problem once it's in your diary. Yeah, so I think the thing is, if you try and work it so that you try and find a date that everybody can do, it's never going to happen. You put the dates in, have a rolling program. And what I say to people as they get added to my comms is, look, I send it all out to everybody. If it's not for you, feel free to ignore it. If you can't make that one, don't worry about it. And if you do want to come, or you think you'd like to come, reply. And then I can put it in place. So actually, I've done my job because I've let them know. They then do their job without feeling any pressure. Yeah. And Sharon, I loved your bring a friend thing, because I think that's a powerful way to get outside of your group of people, isn't it? And some of those friends will become ongoing customers.
Actually, to be fair, when we came to the Winter Festival, Steph that was on our table, it was actually something she's done, and she passed it on to us. So
Yeah, and I think Dee mentioned it, didn't she, in her workshop?
She did.
yeah, so we thought, well, we'll do it as well.
Great idea. Great idea.
Yeah. So sort of listening to others and what they do and the success is really helpful to try it also.
Absolutely. And I think, you know, the world has changed, hasn't it? And community is powerful. And what we're talking about here is building community with our own customer bases. And just, you know, starting that kind of ripple effect of contact and influence is powerful. And for some people, it really is friendships that grow from those events. And for some people, they'll dip in and dip out. It's not as deep as friendship or community, but fundamentally it's there for whoever wants to buy into it. And that is, for me, it works so beautifully alongside the integrity of our products, to be able to be there for people and to meet their needs. And even just today, I've had an order from a lady called Emma, who I met at an office, and she was asking recommendation on men's moisturizers, because there are 2. We've got the age defying one and the other one. And I didn't know the answer. Does it matter? So you look it up, and we were having a little conversation on WhatsApp, and she's placed an order, and she's happy because she's got a free lavender bath salts as well. So, you know, that's about just meeting people's needs and where they're at. But what I loved is she didn't go to the website, she came to me. And I think this is the best way for that to happen. And that relationship with Emma came out of doing workshops in the office at lunchtime.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So your job going out of tonight is to, first of all, brainstorm everybody you know and just think, okay, who am I going to invite? Then don't overthink it, don't overcomplicate it. Just decide you're going to host one at the weekend, this week, next week, don't know. Be spontaneous, dive in, go and print off your cue cards from downloads, and work out whether you want to have the placemats as well as a little kind of prompt for everybody to take them through the process. What I love about those placemats is they've got a little wish list in the corner.
Yes.
And people are a lot freer with a wish list, even though they do get a bit splashy through the course of the evening, than they are with an order form. It makes them realise how many things they want. And that in itself actually is a booking bid. Because, for instance, if Marbecca's got pretty much the whole lot on the list, she's going to be a lot more open to having some of those for free and some of them at discount than if she was just filling in an order form. So work out what your process is going to be. Incentivize them to bring a friend if you want to. Say to them, I'd love to know what you think of these products, these beautiful products that I got in my starter kit, like you said, Marbecca. But I think you're going to love them. Then message me and tell me you've done it. I might have to send you a little something to celebrate in the post. And that's it. And then you just start the ball rolling. Make sure you collect the contact details afterwards if they want to be in touch, and make sure you talk at the end about, right, guys, how about we get together again to celebrate World Sleep Day? I was thinking of doing something in our pajamas. What do you reckon? Yeah, I'll come. And
Yeah. Sorry, Sian, just one thing.
Yeah.
On the sort of evenings that you get together, is it a good idea to sort of do nibbles as well? Give them a drink and nibbles, or forget about the nibbles?
Really good question. My best story about this was a lady said to me, "Oh, that cream, it smells of bacon. Why am I smelling bacon?" And she'd been helping herself to the host's bacon crisps. I was like, no, it doesn't smell of bacon. Trust me, there's no bacon in it. Brilliant. I would say keep nibbles to a minimum. If you want to do anything, then just a bowl of, well, light salted crisps is probably the easiest thing to do, or a bowl of Maltesers or something like that. And then I think, lots of people like a glass of wine, or maybe you want to do a herbal tea. I don't know. It depends on the vibe of the group, really. But I think keep it really simple. The trouble is with, and I always say this to hosts as well, if you do loads, people will either get so lost in the buffet that they won't, that it will get clunky doing the facial, or they won't eat any of the nibbles, and the host is going to be eating them all for days afterwards. We want to keep the cost down for the host. You don't want to at the end of the evening to be thinking, oh, I went to all this effort. Free our hosts up from cooking for half a day off work in order to bake. And if it's not your thing, just keep it really simple.
Right. Okay. Yeah, lovely. Thank you.
No worries. Any other questions before we finish?
For me, I don't actually have the Heritage starter kit. I actually had the Wild Rose Beauty Balm last year. So could I just start with that and run with that and build it up?
Yeah. So what products have you got left from that, Robin? Other than
so I've got I'm trying to wrap my brains what it is now. It was the Wild Rose Beauty Balm itself. There was the
was it all the Wild Rose collection?
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah. It's been a while since I've looked at it. It's been sat in a box.
No, that's fine. So actually, I have bypassed it, but February's focus, if the theme works for people, is the Wild Rose facial collection. So there's Anne back again. I would absolutely say you can start with that and just work with the Radiance theme. So the Wild Rose folder in downloads has also got cue cards and a placemat.
Oh, perfect. That was going to be my next question. Thank you.
So have a look down the folders to the Wild Rose, and they're in there.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, no problem. I think the placemat might be in the current season folder, actually.
Oh, great. I'll have a look.
Can't find it, shout, and I'll help you.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's all good. But maybe, see, my thought there is that introduces antioxidants and glow and radiance, and that's great. I would be saying probably to that group to rebook. I'd give them two choices. Do you want to do sleep next, or shall we have a look at a facial collection that shows the different the different facial collections. So that was the thing we didn't say about the heritage range. It has got kind of something of each of the facial types, skin types. And I think that's another benefit, because you're then introducing things that are other than radiance as a skin concern.
Mm-hmm.
You've got a bit of frankincense, you've got a bit of dry skin with the orange flower, got a bit of rose, normal rose petal rather than wild rose, which is rose hip.
Rehydrating.
Yeah, for normal skin.
Yeah.
Calendula's good for dry and sensitive skin. I mean, it's good for all skin types, but because of its creamy texture and the calendula itself, it's good for sensitive.
Do you know if we got placemats for hand serums or anything?
We haven't, but there is a hand treatment card.
Yeah.
Download.
Yeah, I looked at that one before.
And I don't know whether it was before you came. I think we were talking about the fact that face is over half of what we sell, and so it's focusing on that that's important.
Yeah, but the thing is, the reason we went for the hands is the people that we were inviting were not interested in NYR at all. So
Okay.
it was about using a different sort of like way to get into it. And then on that evening, some of the things I'm going to use, they're going to use like the roll-ons, going to use like rose facial, you know, like the rose beauty balm. And then, so use part of that is the hands, mention little bits about the face, but then after we say, right, okay, we'll have a heritage workshop afterwards. Once they appreciate what we're selling, because at the moment they were Body Shop, not interested whatsoever in facial stuff. So this will be a way of doing it. Yeah. And also because I done it with the older group, the Jamaican group, yeah. I'm going to do it with Sharon, because we might have to, we're going to speak to the council. I'm speaking to the council on Thursday, possibility to do some of those workshops for the council. Right. So we'll go off and do some hand ones first. Do you know what I mean? It's about, that's why we're doing it, really.
Yeah, great. And I think when you're brainstorming your list of people, if you guys have got businesses nearby that potentially would love a little workshop like this in lunch break, go and offer it, you know, solicitors or insurance companies or whatever, you know, whatever you've got nearby. Dawn, welcome. I hope you're going to be able to get to hear the recording. We were literally just wrapping it up, but I couldn't leave you waiting in the waiting room as we started at 8. So it's nice to see you, but
yeah, I just thought I'd just show up because I can't always get to these events.
No, bless you. Well, I always record them. If it's a team event, it gets put on our team YouTube channel, and I've put the link for that in the chat.
Good.
So if you can find the chat, hit the link and open it up on a separate tab, and then you can subscribe and have a look.
Wonderful, thank you.
Right. And when you watch the recording, I'll post the recording from this to into the team system, you know, the Facebook group and everything. I refer to a particular video that sort of walks you through a workshop that's in that YouTube channel, so you'll be able to pick that up as well.
Okay, I can't see a link though in this chat, I'm afraid.
Have you found the chat?
Yeah.
Okay, let me just post it again.
See.
It is coming up now.
Yeah, I've got it now.
I wonder if that's because it only shows, you know, like on WhatsApp, if you join a group, you don't see the messages before you joined.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe it's that. I don't know. But anyway, you've got it now.
Thank you.
That's good. Well, lovely to spend time with you guys. Thank you for coming and joining this evening. Let me stop the recording.